Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And since you guys are enjoying the what we eat in a week-ish, because I don't film every dinner that I make. I'm trying to just like stick to 3, that way it's not an hour-long video. So, here's another what we eat in a week meal from our pantry video. Tonight we are having burritos. So I've got my burrito in a jar. That video should be out by the time you see this video. Now, I gotta tell you, it does not look pretty, but it tastes wonderful. And it's in a burrito, so really, do we care what it looks like? No. So I'm scooping out the meat, now the rice, and then finally the beanage. I need to do dishes, so all of my spatulas are dirty. I know, I'm bad. And then I'm just gonna kind of give it all a mix around. One of our favorite ways to eat this is actually to mix it all up like this and then put it on nachos. Oh yeah, that's so good. So see, it's not the prettiest, but once you roll it into your tortilla, slap some cheese on that baby, it's wonderful. So I'm just gonna take my tortilla roll it up. Put it in my pan. So one jar will make 6 burritos. I'm just gonna kind of lightly cover this with foil, and I'm gonna stick this in the oven for about 20 minutes. And then I'll take it out and put cheese on top and put it in for another 30 minutes. Tonight for dinner, we're gonna have some pork cutlets with mushroom gravy over rice, and I'm not quite sure on the vegetable from the pantry yet. So I've never tried this method before. I'm gonna try to use my cream of mushroom soup mix in the crock pot. I typically just do it on the stove, but we're gonna give it a go. So I'm adding in the dry mix with the water. And then I decided that probably would not be enough gravy for my liking, because I like gravy on my rice. So I'm gonna add some more here momentarily. I will leave the recipe in the description for this. It's really good. Last night I soaked some of my dehydrated mushrooms, and they are fully rehydrated, so I'm going to add that to the crock pot as well. Give it a little mix-up. And then I'm just going to season these pork cutlets on both sides and get them into the crock pot. And then this is just going to cook on low for the day. So I decided to check it after 2 hours, and it's not looking pretty, y'all. But this isn't one of those channels that doesn't show you the fails. I show you when I fail. So what I did was I actually just took the blender and blended it up, and it turned out perfectly. So here is our meal for this night. The pork cutlets with the gravy that almost failed and glazed carrots. So for tonight's dinner, I'm using a lot of leftovers that I have in the fridge, and I'm going to pour a jar of my vegetable soup in the crock pot along with a jar of beef stock. I have a very busy day and it might be 60 degrees outside, but soup is what's for dinner. So I have some leftover stewed tomatoes that were in the fridge and a little bit of tomato paste. And I also have some leftover shepherd's pie mixture. Soup is a great way to use up leftover things in your fridge. If you've been here for a while, you guys know I hate wasting food. So I'm just going to add this tomato paste in with everything as well. And I have something else in the refrigerator that I'm going to throw in at the very end. Just going to give that a mix. I'm also going to make some sourdough rolls to go with this, so stay tuned for that. So this is going to get covered and then I can get on with my day. Now on to the sourdough rolls. I'm going to hold up the recipe card for you to screenshot it. Hopefully you can read my chicken scratch. And you're going to start by putting the warm water, the sugar, and the yeast in your bowl. These rolls are so delicious. These are actually the rolls that were in a previous video of pantry meals. I believe it was the Sloppy Joe sliders. So this is the recipe that I used for those. And then you're just gonna mix that together and let that sit for 3 to 5 minutes. After the 3 to 5 minutes is up, you're gonna add 2 large eggs. I'm using water glassed eggs, so I do make sure that I smell them to make sure that they're okay. Trust me, you will know if you have a bad egg. I couldn't tell if it was the sourdough starter that I had sitting in front of me that was smelling a little sour or the egg, but the egg was fine. Then you're going to add your oil, the salt, and 1 cup of sourdough discard. It's time for me to, this is not an active sourdough discard, it's time for me to feed it. And you can use non-active sourdough starter. So 1 cup goes in. And then you're going to use the paddle. I know that seems a little weird, but you're going to use the paddle attachment at first. And you want to mix that together for about 3 minutes. So now that the 3 minutes is up, I'm going to start with 3 cups of flour. Depending on the weather, this recipe will take 3 to 4 cups of flour. I wasn't sure if I was recording, so I was just checking. I always start with the 3 cups. And then still using the paddle, mix that together. And it's still looking a little wet, so I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup and see how that does. Typically this recipe does take 3.5 cups, but bread is tricky sometimes. It really truly depends on the weather and humidity. So now that it's just brought together, I'm going to switch from the paddle to the dough hook. And then you want to knead this for up to 7 minutes. It needs to rise for 1 hour, and I totally forgot to mention that. So here's what it looks like after a 1 hour rise. And I'm just kind of pulling some of it off and tucking that dough underneath itself to make a nice ball. And I like to give it a twist at the end to give it a little more tension. And you will get 12 rolls out of this recipe. Make sure your pan is greased, and after you have all of your little dough balls, you're going to cover it with a tea towel and let that rise for 1 hour. So here's what they look like after the 1 hour rise. And I never do this, so I can just hear my sister screaming at the video right now. You never egg wash. You say it's cheating. But I do with these, because it does make them a lot browner. So a little bit of egg wash on top. These rolls are so, you guys will be amazed, so pillowy and delicious. And these are going to cook at 375 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. So they're fresh out of the oven. Look how beautiful they are. And I am just taking some butter. And buttering the tops, because this is going to give them a nice soft top once they cool. Aren't those gorgeous? So it's about 4 hours later. The soup is nice and hot. I have some leftover rice from the other night's dinner, and I'm just going to pop that right on into there because I have no other plans for rice this week. Give it a stir. And then I'm just going to set this to warm. Dinner is in about an hour, so keeping it on warm will be fine. All right, let's check out these rolls, you guys. Oh, they're still very, very hot. But I wanted you to see just how wonderful and delicious they turn out. Ringo, get down. Look at how beautiful, soft, and pillowy they are. You guys, these are seriously the best rolls. Please try the recipe. You will not be disappointed. So thanks for coming along, you know, for another couple pantry meals. If you guys want to continue to see these, make sure you drop me a comment and let me know. I know some of you are really enjoying them, but I just want to make sure because I want to give you guys the content you want to see. Again, thanks for joining me for the kitchen time, and I hope you've all had a wonderful week. And as always, until next time, abundance and blessings to you, friends. Bye-bye.